last video was, I think, about a month ago now. So in the last month, I've done a lot, which I'm not normally a super social person, but it really depends on the company that you keep. I'm suddenly not in a very good mood. I don't know what's going on, but so I'm at home today. Normally I go for a little drive to clear my head before I start video journaling, and then I just park somewhere in my car at a nice calm spot so that I can sit and reflect on any thoughts that have been coming to my mind. But I'm home at the moment. I'm alone. There has been a handful of times in the past couple of years where I have experienced a form of a panic attack in this type of an environment. Let's call it a little bit of exposure therapy. I'm just going to remember to breathe and try and put that to the back of my mind. We'll just see how I feel. I have now had a single session with a psychotherapist. She spoke with me about a few of the things that I'd like to deal with, and then she is going away and going to pair me up with a psychologist who she thinks is going to be a good fit. The psychologist spoke with me mostly about my mum and how my upbringing has affected me. I don't know how, I guess she's trained to recognize those things, but she was sort of like, well, that is probably an area that you're going to need to do the most work. And I guess deep down I knew that anyway, or I had an inkling of that, but I just have never delved fully into it, or never had like confirmation that yes, that is where most of your problems lie or stem from. It's obviously still very hard to talk about for me. That's probably why I haven't done anything about it, because I don't talk to people about it. But we all have that we don't want to talk about, right? But she was asking things like, what are my triggers? And I'm starting to develop a fairly good understanding of what my triggers are. The trouble is, as soon as I understand a trigger, my response is to avoid it. But I can't just spend my whole life avoiding things because I'm worried that they're going to set me off or make me sad or angry or whatever. So I'm feeling good about it. I'm just feeling very, I think apprehensive is the word. Even just thinking about going to my next session, I'm already in my head going, okay, what can I do to avoid the session? Like, if I'm sick, then I can't go, kind of thing. Like, I'm just already trying to avoid it. She asked me if I would reflect monthly, pick 3 good points and 3 negative points. Do the negative ones first, because then you're not focusing on them. You end focusing on the positive ones. So I did that. I kind of focused it on the whole year because a lot of negative things happened last year. We'll just say it's December 2023. My negative points were mostly that I didn't achieve the goals that I set out for myself. And that just means that any resolutions that were left unmet for 2023 are now going to be carried on with me into 2024. That's fine. I mean, as long as things eventually get addressed. I think I'm just being too hard on myself. I'm always like this though. Like, I just push myself. I'm very hard on myself. And I don't know how to not be. There's a lot of those goals that I didn't quite meet. I definitely have been working on them, but I feel like there was very little that I could actually tick off as completed. Most of them are just, everyday stuff. Actually, this is the second point. The second negative kind of regret that I have for December 2023 is that I was studying a diploma of nursing, which was a little bit of a career change for me. So I started off studying veterinary nursing, which I should have stuck with on reflection. that's where my heart is really aiming. I just saw the opportunity for completing the diploma, and I thought that it would put me in a better financial position. And I guess I learned the lesson the hard way that money isn't always the answer. It's good to have money and it's good to have nice things. Money makes the world go round, like we need money to survive. It just had me on this path that I wasn't certain that I really wanted to be on. So there's definitely a lot of regret surrounding that. I'm no longer a student nurse. I ended up withdrawing so that I could use the time to focus on my mental health. It just got to the point where I was feeling so overwhelmed that I just would cry because I couldn't see a way out. And what I mean by that is normally the path is relatively clear. You're in this position of your life and you can see like, oh, if I go this path, this will happen. If I go this path, something else might happen. It might be a little bit different. It might be windy. There might be trees in the way. Everyone has options in life, and those two paths might still lead to the same destination. It's just a different journey. But for me, I had started on a path that, I guess the metaphor, what I felt like was blocked off, and I was stuck there. I couldn't go back that way. I couldn't go forwards, I couldn't go left, right. I just felt like I'm just stuck here. And that's what it started to feel like with my diploma. It's really hard to remain motivated about something that you don't really want. You know, like it's like when you're a little kid and your mum's like, oh, eat your broccoli. Like, you don't want to eat it. Even though it might be good for you, it doesn't taste good at the time. So that's where I'm like struggling. Like, I know it would have been good for me. I know it would have been a great career and still possibly might be someday. It's just not today. The third negative thing that happened for 2023, I was kind of ghosted by my crush. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Let's focus on the positives. So the 3 good points for 2023. I don't want to keep banging on about it, but it really was a great Christmas this year. Like the last few Christmases have been a bit meh, but this one was a really good one. My sister went above and beyond and made sure that it really was a good one because we don't often get to spend time together, let alone Christmas together. So she did turkey and ham. Her and her partner, they went all out to make sure that it was time well spent with our family, reconnecting. Another good point for 2023, I learned a lot. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but as a credit to myself, I self-taught myself a lot of things that I was never going to learn any other way. I started learning how to do macrame, which is literally just tying knots in ropes to make things. It's not that hard, but it was just a thing that I always was like, oh, I'd love to know how to do that. I spent a lot of my year researching. I learned a lot about anatomy this year, mostly driven by my nursing course because we had access to lots of anatomy and physiology books, but I no longer look at things from a layman's point of view. I think about like the systems of the body and how they work and why they work in the way that they work. Rather than being like, oh no, I'm going to put sunscreen so I don't get sunburnt, my immediate thought now is to try and understand why sunscreen works against preventing sunburn. And if we do get sunburnt, at what level are we actually harming our skin, and how does it heal, and how long does it take, and all those sorts of things. So yeah, although I withdrew from the course, I definitely am taking a lot of information and growth away from doing that. And the third positive for 2023 would just be that I stuck to majority of my resolutions. I didn't do all of them, but most of them I did, if not for the whole year, for a good amount of the year. Quitting fast food, because it's usually one of my resolutions. Not so much losing weight, but just not fueling my body with crap food. So I deleted the Macca's app, the KFC app. I you know, if they sent Domino's vouchers to my mailbox, I just threw it away and things like that. And I was really good for most of the year with that. It was just sort of towards the end of the year when life started to get chaotic that I started to rely more heavily on convenience. At least I can identify where I might need to come up with a better way to support myself and not rely on crappy foods, convenience foods. I stuck with that one mostly. The one that I didn't stick to as well was probably exercise, but I was so busy with other things that I didn't really find time to schedule it in. Like, what I would really like to do for 2024 is look for ways to kind of incidentally exercise. Like, okay, so you need to go to the shops, well, how about you walk? It's only a 10-minute walk. Just walk to the shops and walk back. Like, incorporate exercise without actually realizing I'm doing that. Me and my best friend, we said that our motto for 2023 was 2023, the year of me. And we were supposed to be focusing more on our own needs and wants rather than, like her and I are very guilty of putting all the other people around us first and what they want. We kind of gave ourselves permission to be a little bit more selfish with it and focus a little bit more on ourselves and what we want and what we need out of life. Although we didn't quite tick off all the goals, we definitely made really good progress in the direction of that. So I'm hoping that 2024 brings on a whole lot more of that. Not saying that I want to turn into someone who's selfish, but I want to be able to focus on myself and not feel guilty for doing so. I shouldn't be relying on other people to meet my own needs. I should be capable of doing that in most aspects. Obviously, there's some things that I can't do myself. Anyway, leave it there. Bye.